I'm Mercy Bevan from My Creation Academy. And today I am so excited because I'm going to start with my masterclass about the book written by John Maxwell. As I have said before, I am part of the John Maxwell team. We do coaching, mentoring, and speaking on such topics as leadership, communication, and personal development. And for today, I'm going to discuss about the law of intentionality. And for those viewers, my subscribers, I recommend that you have your own journal or a notebook where you can write everything that I'm going to discuss, because I guarantee you that it will help you change for the better or reach your potential as a person. So to begin, do you have a plan for growth? Alright? Why? Because personal growth is not a natural process in most people's lives. Okay? Ask this question. How do you think this building we are right now was built? Because right now, I am vlogging in my parents' ancestral house in the Philippines, and we are here in a structure, a building. So my question is, how do you think this building was built? In what order were the parts of the building put in place? What do you think John or the author think when he meant, if you focus on goals, you may hit the goals, but that doesn't guarantee growth. If you focus on growth, you will grow and always hit growth. So what is the difference between goals and growth? Alright? So now we will be discussing the different growth gaps. Alright? So these growth gap traps are the hindrance to our plan for growth. So number one, we have the assumption gap. Alright? What is this concept of that assumption gap? I assume that I will automatically grow. Alright? So when we are children, we grow. The process is natural. Alright? We don't intend or plan to grow. We just grow. Alright? A year goes by and we become taller and we become stronger, more capable of doing new things and facing new challenges. So the author John Maxwell believes that people carry this concept or this assumption into adulthood. Okay? There is in every person a subconscious belief that mental, spiritual, and emotional growth follows a similar pattern. And time goes by and we simply get better. And that's what in our subconscious mind. Alright? The author John Maxwell further said emphatically that we are like Charlie Brown in the Charles Schulz Peanut comic strip, who once said that, I think I've discovered the secret of life. He said that you just hang around until you get used to it. Alright? The author believes that we don't improve by simply living. We have to be intentional about it. I repeat. The author believes that we don't improve by simply living. We have to be intentional about it. Remember the musician Bruce Springsteen, the author or the singer of the song Born in the USA? He said that a time comes when you need to stop waiting for the man you want to become and start being the man you want to be. Alright? So, we must all remember that no one improves by accident. Personal growth doesn't just happen on its own. Once you're done with your formal education, you must make a complete ownership of the growth process, because nobody else will do it for you. So There is this famous author that said, "No wind favors him who has no destined port." Michael de Montaigne. If you want your life to improve, you must improve yourself. And you must make a tangible target about it. Alright? And that is the assumption gap. Number 2, we have the knowledge gap. What is this concept of knowledge gap all about? I don't know how to grow. Okay, assuming that you have decided to grow. You have made a decision to grow. But you said to yourself, I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to grow. The author John Maxwell said, and I quote him, that he had a meeting with a salesperson who sells a growth kit. And in their meeting, the salesperson asked him, do you have a growth plan in your life? Alright? I'm going to ask you now, do you have a growth plan in your life? If you want to grow, if you are studying, if you're an employee, if you're a wife or a husband, or you're starting a family, how do you grow as a husband or a wife or a worker, a student, or in your relationship, in your friendship? Designer, artist, and consultant Loretta Staples says, if you are clear with what you want, the world responds with clarity, right? So, the author John Maxwell said that when he knew what he wanted, he said that he knew what he wanted. What he wanted to do, he knew about it. That he wanted to grow into the new job he was taking that time, because at that time the author had a new job and he wanted to grow as a worker. So he wanted to become someone accomplishing the big goals he had set for himself. He just needed a way to do that at that time. So many people learn only from the school of hard knocks, from the university of hard knocks, so to speak. Difficult experiences teach them lessons the hard way, and they change. Sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. So, as we see, the lessons are random and difficult. It's really difficult, no? It's much better to plan your growth intentionally. Alright? So you decide where you need or want to grow, you choose what you will learn, and you follow through with discipline, going at the pace you set. And that is the knowledge gap. So, number 3, we have the timing gap. What is this timing gap all about? You want to grow. You want to reach your fullest potential as a person. But, you said to yourself, it is not yet the right time to begin. Alright? When John Maxwell, the author, was a kid, one of his father's favorite riddles to him went like this. 5 frogs went on a log and decided to jump. How many are left? And John said, only 1. The father responded, still 5. Why? Because the 4 frogs who decided to jump didn't actually do it. So, the author asks why. There's a difference between deciding and doing. So, if you make a decision to grow, but you do not actually actualize that decision by doing something step by step on a daily or monthly, if you don't have a plan and you don't actualize it, means nothing. Alright? American politician Frank Clark said, what great accomplishment we'd have in the world if everybody had done what they intended to do. So most people don't act as quickly as they should on things. So they find themselves subject to the law of diminishing intent. I will repeat, the law of diminishing intent, which says that the longer you wait to do something you should do, the greater the odds that you will never actually do it. So this is the law of diminishing intent. So the story of the author himself back when he was deciding whether to try to buy that personal growth plan, which according to him, he was lucky because, as I have said, at that time, the author was new in his job and he needed a plan. He needed an idea on how to grow in his career. And the salesperson was offering him a growth plan, a growth kit, wherein you can grow as a person. Alright? So, when he was offered that job, he acted promptly as he could. So as for you, my dear viewers, subscribers, and for all of you watching my channel for the first time, you may be under personal or professional pressure right now. You are maybe in a new job, or looking for a job, or in a new relationship, or starting a family, or you're a student. Alright, if you are probably anxious to start growing and developing. But what if you're not? So, whether you feel prompted or not, now is the time to start growing. So, author and professor Leo Buscaglia asserted, live life for tomorrow, live for tomorrow will always be a day away from being realized. So, always remember that. The reality is that you will never get much done unless you go ahead and do it before you are ready. Alright? I repeat, the reality is that you will never get much done unless you go ahead and actually do it before you are ready. If you are not already intentionally growing, you need to get started today. If you don't, you may reach some goals which you can celebrate, but you will eventually plateau. You will eventually plateau. So once you start growing intentionally, you can keep growing and asking, what's the next step? Alright? Number 4, the mistake gap. What is this concept of the mistake gap? I'm afraid of making mistakes. Alright? Assuming you have already decided to grow as a person. But you can't start. Why? Because I'm afraid. You are afraid of making mistakes. So growing can really be a messy business. It means admitting you don't have the answers to the questions. It requires making mistakes and so on and so forth. It can make you look foolish actually. Most people don't enjoy that. We must admit it. We don't enjoy making mistakes. We don't enjoy looking foolish to people, to others. But that is the price of admission if you want to improve. Alright? So if you want to grow, you need to get over any fear you may have of making a mistake. Get that fear out of yourself, out of your mind, because it will hinder your growth. So, as author and Professor Warren Bennis asserts, a mistake is simply another way of doing things. So, remember that, my dear viewers and subscribers. A mistake is simply another way of doing things. So, to become intentional about growing, expect to make mistakes every day, and welcome them as a sign that you are moving in the right direction. Alright? So, number 5 is the perfectionist gap. What is this perfectionist gap all about? You have decided to grow. I have made the decision, I will grow. I will realize my fullest potential. But, I have to find the best way before I start. And that is the perfectionist gap. Similar to the mistake gap is the perfectionist gap, the desire to find the best way to get started in a growth plan. Alright? So, the author John Maxwell said that when the salesman offered him that growth kit, he was looking for the best way. He was anxious. He wanted to grow, but he was looking for the best way to grow as a person. But what he discovered is that he had it backward. What the author meant was that he had to get started if he wanted to find the best way. Alright? So in your case, you also do the same. Make a decision to do it and not backward. Just because along the way, if you start, you find the best way along the way. Alright? So ideally, you'd like to be able to see your whole route before you begin. Number 5 is the perfectionist gap. What is this perfectionist gap all about? Okay, you have decided to grow as a person. You have decided to take it step by step, learn from it, alright? But you have to find the best way before I start. Alright? Similar to the mistake gap is the perfectionist gap, the desire to find the best way to get started in a growth plan. Okay, the author John Maxwell said that when the salesman presented to him the growth plan, he was looking for the best plan. But what he discovered is that he had it backward. What the author meant was that he had to get started if he really wanted to find the best way. So, it's similar to driving an unfamiliar road at night. So ideally, you'd like to be able to see your whole route before you begin, alright? But you see it progressively. As you move forward, a little more of the road is revealed to you. And if you want to see more of the way, then get moving. Alright, it's very clear. Get moving. So number 6 is the inspiration gap. What is this inspiration gap all about? I don't feel like doing it. You have decided to grow as a person, but you don't feel like doing it. Many years ago, the author shared his experience when he was stuck in the doctor's office. He was really stuck for a really long time, so he was able to complete all the work he brought with him for the wait, and he was looking for something productive to do. So what he did at that time, he flipped through these medical journals and found the following text. And mind you, dear viewers and subscribers, this was before the Nike slogan, "Just Do It," was coined. Alright? So, he saw in the medical journal, "Just do it." We hear it every day when we watch that commercial, right? So, we just can't get ourselves motivated to lose weight, to test our blood sugar for diabetes and all that. And we hear a number of complaints from diabetes educators who can't get their patients motivated to do the right thing for their diabetes and health. We have great news for you. Motivation is not going to strike you like lightning, guys. It really isn't going to strike you like lightning. And motivation is not something that someone else, your doctor, your nurse, your family member, can bestow or force upon you. The whole idea of motivation is actually a trap. I repeat, the whole idea of motivation is actually a trap. Forget motivation, just do it. Just do it. Exercise, lose weight, test your blood sugar, whatever, do it without motivation, and then guess what will happen? After you start doing the things, that's when the motivation comes and makes it easy for you to keep doing it. That's the secret, guys. So motivation is like love and happiness. It's a byproduct. So when you're actively engaged in doing something, it sneaks up and zaps you when you least expect it. So Harvard psychologist Jerome Berner says, you're more likely to act yourself into feeling than feel yourself into action. So act. Whatever it is you know you should do, just do it. Alright? Just do it. So number 7, we have the comparison gap. What is this all about? What is this comparison gap all about? You have decided to grow. Alright? You make the decision to grow. You said to yourself, others are better than I am. Others are better than you are. That's what you think. That's what you assume. Alright? The author John Maxwell said that early in his career, he attended an idea exchange with 3 other leaders in Orlando, Florida. He went because he realized that he needed to grow. He needed to go outside of his inner circle in order to grow. When he arrived, he was intimidated. He was actually intimidated at that time. So he continued to talk and share ideas. It became very clear at that time that he was not in their league. Meaning that those who attended the meeting was actually bigger, more successful than the author. Alright? So their organization was 6 times the size of the author's organization, and they had more and much better ideas than him. Alright? Despite that, he became encouraged. Why? What is the secret? because he discovered that great men were willing to share their ideas. He was learning. She was learning so much from them at that time. So you can learn only if others are ahead of you. That's the secret. Alright? So, the last is what we call the expectation gap. So what is this concept of expectation gap all about? I thought it would be easier than this. Alright? So I don't know any successful person who thinks that growth comes quickly and climbing to the top is easy. Do you know anybody? Do you know any successful person that had his way very easy? It just doesn't happen. People create their own luck. How? Here's the formula. I've written it. We have the preparation for growth, plus attitude, which is you do things daily, it's a decision, it's a step-by-step plan, plus opportunity, plus action, doing something about it, equals luck. That's the secret, that's the formula, alright? So it all starts with preparation. Unfortunately, preparation takes time. But here's the best news. As Jim Rohn said, you cannot change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction overnight. So if you want to reach your goals and fulfill your potential, guys, become intentional about your personal growth, and it will change your life. So I hope this topic can help you in your journey as in realizing your fullest potential as a person. Alright? God bless everyone.